And questions to the Cabinet members will now be taken. If I can start with Councillor Thomas.
Question number 12 to the Cabinet member.
Madam Mayor, I thank Councillor Thomas for his question. The answer is outlined below his question. I would just like to take the opportunity to refer to the Council's stated thresholds as in answer A, which were published in June of this year and are reviewed annually, particularly in paragraphs 2.12 and 2.13. And if the Council would like a full copy of this document, I can arrange for it to be sent to him. But basically it talks about the lower level of being 14,250 and the higher level being 25,000 with a tariff of £1 per £250 savings above that level.
Supplementary, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Thomas.
Thank the Cabinet member for his answer. I believe I have the document he refers to. I'm afraid to say I'm still mystified, however. Could the Cabinet member elucidate what the point of this consultation actually is, when, by his own admission, charging carers for support is going to raise no money, it threatens to deter carers from accessing support, and he's actually got no idea on the options he wants to consult on? Isn't this whole thing symptomatic of the Council's incoherent approach?
With the greatest respect to the Councillor, and we did discuss this at length at the OVO and Scrutiny Committee, and I gave him a very full response on that occasion. We do know what we're going to be consulting about, and I just take on board the fact that the comments made by your colleague, Councillor Pritchard, earlier on, about the need for consultation and saying it was very important and quoting all sorts of acts and sections. And if we're going to involve the residents of the borough, we need to be consulting with them.
Councillor Hampton.
Question for the Cabinet member for housing about rent subsidies. Today the Chancellor axed subsidised rents for those living in council or house.
I'm just about to address it. Thank you, Councillor Robertson.
Sorry.
Make it brief, please, Councillor.
Oh, sorry. Right, okay. Today the Chancellor axed subsidised rents. Can you please advise...
Councillor Hampton, could you please ask question 13?
Oh, question 13. Oh, my supplementary. So, humble apologies, Madam Mayor. Right, my supplementary.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to thank Councillor Hampton for her question, and I look forward to her supplementary in due course. I will be quite succinct, as requested over there. Yes, I do most certainly agree with it. I think it's probably a case of from each according to his ability to each according to his needs.
Thank you.
Supplementary, Madam
Hampton.
Mayor. Can I please ask what help will be given to this group so that they can release houses for those in true need?
Which group?
This group. The question. The people who are earning over £40,000 a year in social housing.
I would hope that if people are earning that sort of money, Madam Mayor, they would be capable of making their own decisions.
Councillor Hogg.
Thank you. Well, I think we're agreeing council housing should prioritise those with most need. Down the line, we're really on our council estates, but those who are should pay their own way. I think this policy is unlikely to help with the local housing crisis. Does the Cabinet member not think it will just lead to more bureaucracy for a little extra income? Social housing landlords don't keep this in place low income at the moment, where these supplementary rents have been trying to country have been found to be difficult and inefficient. Does he agree the real solution is to get more attractive options for tenants to move into down size to fit social housing for people's life sizes?
Councillor Hogg, can we be a little bit briefer?
And above all, to deliver more social housing.
You can't hear.
Councillor Ennis.
Madam Mayor, I heard that very well, so hopefully other members did too. I'd like to thank Councillor Hogg for his supplementary question. He asks sort of what we can do to assist people to move around the social rented sector or indeed out of it. The answer to that is our Moves and Abilities scheme, which unfortunately his group voted against. We will be continuing with that, and I'm very confident that we can assist people to move into properties suitable for their requirements, whether it's within the social rented sector or indeed out of it. He asks if we will be building more low-cost housing. The answer, of course, is yes, and as a member of the committee, he will be aware of all the various programmes that are ongoing. And as the leader said, I think earlier on, we'll be delivering at least 20% in Vauxhall 9 Elms, which I think is quite a remarkable achievement, particularly in view of all the infrastructure expenditure that takes place there. So yes, a great deal is being done. I don't know whether whether the opposition welcome this or not. I haven't really made that very clear at the moment. I'm not aware that this has actually been tried elsewhere. If Councillor Hogg says it has, then I've no reason to doubt him. If it's failed elsewhere, then obviously we will learn from that failure and make sure that we get it right.
Councillor MacDonald.
Question 14 to the Cabinet Member.
I thank the Councillor for her question. The figures are set out in the first part of the answer. Perhaps I could otherwise draw Councillor's attention to the work the Council has been doing over a number of years in the Hidden Homes and Self-Build programme, to the fact that the Council hits the Decent Homes standard early, and the very good work that's being done by a number of registered providers to bring their homes up to an appropriate standard as well.
Supplementary, Madam Mayor.
Councillor MacDonald.
Aside from the fact that the borough is spending £1 billion in subsidising private landlords and half of that in bricks and mortar, can I ask the Cabinet Member that under the current arrangements he can be confident that we are getting value for money and that we are not handing benefits over to slum landlords or subsidising slum landlords, and if he's not confident of that, what he's going to do about it?
Well, as the question points out, the vast majority of that benefit is actually being paid either effectively to ourselves, because it's money we get from central government, or to other registered providers, most of whom uphold pretty good standards, and if there are problems with them, they deal with it. The remaining 28% is paid to private sector landlords, and as the answer explains, we do very considerable work to ensure that those landlords, if they fell short, they're forced to put things right, and if necessary, are prosecuted.
Councillor Cooper.
Councillor 15, question 15 to the Cabinet Member for Housing.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to thank Councillor Mrs Cooper for her question. It's quite a substantive answer here. The explanation for this is that properties became available in Birmingham. They were offered to people not only on the homelessness list but also on the transfer register. Applicants were asked to reply within between 5 and 7 working days if they are interested. This elicited, and then it would then move on to the next tranche of people. It resulted in several dozen expressions of interest, and I'm pleased to say that 6, I think it is at the moment, families have relocated. I believe they are very happy in their new homes, and it has always been the Council's policy to participate in schemes such as Coast and Country and London Moves, because we value the fact that people can move around either to suit their job requirements or to be near family, or simply because they fancy a change of scene.
Second supplementary.
Councillor Cooper. Mrs Cooper.
First supplementary. Did the department directly receive any complaints in response to the letters?
Madam Mayor, my information is that the department didn't receive any complaints, but I understand that the former Labour parliamentary candidate for Battersea did. It does seem a little odd that if I have a complaint about my electricity supply, that I might consider going to British Telecom about it, but there we are. I gather there was an attempt made to find out who this complainant was so that they could receive an apology for any distress that was caused, and apparently the person preferred to remain anonymous.
Second supplementary.
Councillor Hogg.
Thank you very much. I mean, it sounds like they're not even sorry they got caught. I mean, this is part of a troubling picture of families being pushed out the borough. As the answer notes, this mess came about because the Supreme Court ruled that boroughs, such as Wandsworth, must stop shipping homeless families out of London. Homeless families should not be placed as far away as Portsmouth and Leicester, should they? Families in temporary accommodation should not be sent to
Councillor Hogg,
Croydon and have 3
little
hours
briefer.
taking their children to and from school each day, should they? And council tenants should not be paid to move to insecure
briefer
private
question,
rented
please,
accommodation
Councillor
in
Hogg.
Birmingham. In short, does the Cabinet Member agree the answer is more affordable housing for our own residents,
Shorter.
not trying every trick in the book to ship out our own residents?
Madam Mayor, I'm quaking already in case you tell me off. All I can say really is what it says here, and this is that the letter said, please note there is no need to contact us if you're not interested. This is just an opportunity, entirely your choice. No mention of being no mention of being shipped out anywhere. Absolutely no mention. And if anybody wants to see the letter, it's on Councillor Hogg's own website. So, you know, we can read it for ourselves. All I can say is, if people were given the opportunity to go to Birmingham, and several families have chosen to do so. If Councillor Hogg thinks that people should not be allowed to go where they would like to go, well, frankly, welcome to the Soviet Union.
Councillor Jones.
Question 16 to the Cabinet Member for Adult Care and Health.
Madam Mayor, I thank the councillor for her question. The answer is outlined in the paper. I'd just like to highlight the last part of the answer A, which shows that the latest data is for 2010-2013.
Could I interrupt you, Councillor Van? Can you turn your mic off? Thank you very much. Sorry, Councillor Moon.
Which shows that the excess winter deaths index is now at 20.6. This is an improvement on the previous figures. We're no longer the highest in London. We're now the 8th highest. I'm not being complacent. There's still a lot of work to be done, and the work that we are doing is outlined in paragraph B of the response.
Supplementary.
Councillor Jones.
I welcome your statement that there's a lot of work to be done and you're not being complacent. So I wonder if you can tell me if there are any routine inspections for all at-risk older people in the private rented sector, and if not, why not?
Well, the fact of the matter is that everybody who is known to the adult care services is contacted in the autumn or early part of November to recommend certain actions that they should be taken, and they're all given the opportunity to receive information about the flu immunisation. And I'm pleased to report that Public Health England have said that our take-up on flu jabs is one of the best in London. In the recently released figures. As it says here, winter calls to vulnerable older people known to social services. Unfortunately, it's quite difficult to contact people who are not known to us. But there's a lot of work that is being done through Leonard Cheshire, the Older People's Forum, Age UK, and other organisations who are part of the Excess Winter Death Steering Group, which I am very pleased to chair.
Second supplementary. Sorry, I did specifically ask if there are any routine inspections by the council, not of the other bodies that you mentioned, for at-risk older people in the private rented sector. Specifically, inspections by the council, please. And if there aren't, could you say why?
I heard your question, but I don't think that is a matter that we are able to carry out. It is we're working with our partners. The partners have the access to the individuals you refer to, as do the private rented sector department, which is part of Mr. Riley's department, and we're doing everything we possibly can to contact everybody who might be at risk. But routine, no.
Question 17 to the Cabinet Member. Thank the councillor for his question. It's certainly an auspicious week for a cycling question, with the inauguration of the Queen's Circus roundabout with its dedicated cycling lanes, the first of its kind in London, possibly the UK. And it does seem to have been well received. Early indications are very encouraging. As the answer says, 8% of our residents now commute to work by bike. It's doubled in 10 years. And during that time, car usage has declined despite a significant growth in population. So I think everyone will agree that is very good news. It's good news for people's health, it's good news for air quality, and it's good news for congestion. And we know we've got challenges on all of those fronts, so I think that's greatly to be welcomed. Regarding the cycle hire scheme, that has fulfilled expectations. It's going well, and the figures are here in the answer. Regarding the consultation, very keen to hear from all sections of the cycling community, and crucially those who don't cycle, because I do recognise that there are some people who are a bit impatient with aggressive cyclists. So very much welcome all views, and they will be taken into account in shaping the strategy.
Second supplementary.
Supplemental, Madam Mayor. Thank you. Thank you to the Cabinet Member for that very full response. In Fairfield, we have a particular problem with capacity on our trains from Wandsworth Town. And I wonder if the Cabinet Member agrees with me that the planning system is a good way to encourage use of other forms of transport, including cycling, river transport and walking.
I thank the councillor for that supplementary question. Yes, absolutely I do. I mean, congestion I just mentioned, we know that it's a huge and growing challenge. 10 years from now, there are some really quite concerning statistics. So everything we can do to spread usage to other modes of transport, and cycling is going to be absolutely crucial. Walking is amongst them. Car sharing, with a leading car sharing car club borough in London. Anything we can do to spread the load is clearly a very good thing.
Second supplementary. Thank you. When will the consultation begin, given that it hasn't yet started, and also when will it be ending, seeing as we're coming up to the quite quieter summer period? And also, how will it be conducted? So more than just a document on the website and comments on it, you referred to the consultation and wanting to talk to lots of different groups, which is absolutely right. So how will it be brought to life, people given options, the ways to make a consultation really engaging, especially as you referred to, it's potentially a controversial area where we want to bring all residents with us into the new strategy.
I thank the councillor for that supplementary. I believe we covered quite a lot of this at the recent OSC committee, but the consultation will start imminently, primarily web-based, but we're making great efforts to contact all interested groups, writing to them, speaking to them. I'm certainly taking every opportunity, and this is one such, to make everybody aware of it, and it will go through to mid-September. So very full period for everyone who wants to get involved to do so.